happiness is great when it's there, but the most important, I would say, is to be true to what you are, who you are, what do you desire. And as long as I'm honest with that, I think I'm okay.
Quand je serai vieille, on m'appellera en cas de coup dur. Je donnerai quelques conseils et la tisane pour les blessures.
Hello, my name is Eline Perez and you're listening to Are You an Artist? Today's episode is with Johanna Bagé, whom I met in a bus before discovering that she was a fantastic singer. She speaks here about her journey from studying politics to writing songs, the freedom of creating your life, and vegetarian lesbians. Yes, Johanna is great. No, I don't need to say more. Let's listen to her sweet voice right now.
Bonsoir.
En plus, t'as une trop belle voix, je vais être trop contente de parler. Je vais être là. Wow. So I always start by reading out a letter I've written to the guest.
Oh,
So I've
lovely.
written a letter to you.
Okay.
Dear Johanna, we met in a bus in France around Christmas time, and I remember chatting and laughing a lot on the journey. You were coming from Brussels, and you told me you were a troubadour. You played the guitar, wrote songs, traveled, and enjoyed life. I already mentioned the podcast at that time, but then listening to your first album, Câlin Oxygène, I completely fell in love, and I'm so happy to have you here today. I know that you studied politics before going into music, but I am curious about how it all started, your creative practice and also your life.
Long story.
Thank you so much for coming. And here's the first question. Johanna, are you an artist?
I guess I am. I would say, I mean, it's been not such a long time since I would accept to call myself an artist. Because I've been doing this, I've been singing and writing songs since maybe 3 years. And like doing properly, like as a living since less than 2 years. And when I started like going on stage and stuff, people would ask me like, are you an artist? I would just say like, I sing and play a bit of a guitar, you know? I would never say like, I'm an artist or even I'm a singer.
Yeah.
Like I sing, I play the guitar. I'm not a guitarist. I'm not a singer. It's like some things sometimes are hard to claim for yourself. Because I studied like viola, like the big violin for like 10 years in the music school.
Okay.
So I could tell that I was at least a violist. But as I learned the guitar and the singing is a bit like my everyday life and what I do because I like it. It's not something I studied and I worked for so hard.
When did you start singing?
I don't know, like since I can.
Okay, so like since you were like super young, you would just...
I mean, it's like if I ask you when did you start to dance? It's like a blurry thing. You always danced maybe in your life, you know?
Yeah.
My father was a choir conductor as well.
Okay.
So I heard a lot of music growing up. A lot of polyphony, a lot of singing around. I never took like singing class.
Okay.
If that's a question.
Yeah.
But I always enjoyed singing. I had a sister that was also a musician, so we grew up improvising a lot. She would play the piano, the cello, I would play the viola, we would sing together and make up silly songs. And
yeah, you had a song with your mother and your sister singing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I loved it as well. It was so nice.
yeah, it's a song we've written during actually lockdown. I had this melody stuck in my head, so I just gave it to my mom. I was like, please, can you write the lyrics of a lullaby on it? And she was like, okay, yes. And a few days after, she's like, I have it.
Oh, wow.
And so we played it. And then my sister arrived and she's like, can I harmonize you guys? And I was like, yeah, of course you can. So it ended up being a 3-voice song that is very precious for me and gave also the title to the album I've recorded 2 years ago. Yeah, it's a special song in my heart.
Huh. And this album, when did you decide I'm going to write an album? Or was it just kind of you had the songs and then you put them together?
Yeah, I mean, as the rest of the career I'm following is a bit of a coincidence. It's like I arrived in Lisbon. I was studying like social sciences, political sciences at the time. And so I did the 3rd year in Lisbon. And I arrived there and I met loads of musicians. I was like, oh my God, this is heaven here.
In your course or just around?
No, around in the city.
Okay.
I would go out and meet a lot of musicians. So we started doing music together, and little by little,
Yeah.
I would start going on stage and like jamming with people and doing concerts and playing in the streets with some musicians. And I met a guy and he was like, but you write your own songs? I was like, yeah. And he was like, are they recorded? I was like, no. Would you like to? I was like, okay. So I met him like the day after in his room where he had like material to record. We tried some stuff.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, let's do it. Let's record an album. I was like, okay. And so we recorded like 10 songs.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. But like, I ended up the year of my studies, my Erasmus basically in Lisbon. And I was actually living from the music in Lisbon, and I had an album recorded without even me thinking before I could do that as a living, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's
It was-
crazy.
Yeah, it was not an option. Like in my head, there was like 2 ways of being a musician. Like, or it's miserable and you can't make it because it's so hard, and like it's so hard to be a musician and make it a living. So you finish by doing things you don't really like, and like you kind of prostitute your art, you know?
Yeah.
Or other choice, you make it very good, and then you're a superstar and you cannot walk in the streets. And I was like, both is shit, you know? I don't want neither of that.
You don't want
know?
to be a superstar.
Of course not. I don't want. It's fucking hell.
I would stalk you.
That's awful. Like I have all these images of, yeah, you know, like paparazzi and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like that was my mental image of what a musician can be, what an artist could be, and I could not picture myself in neither of that. And so by doing it in Lisbon, like I just realized that there was a tiny world that was existing in between the two, and you can create a living out of it. And it's not miserable, it's not superstar, it's just actually nice, and you can share your art and people receive it, and you can live as a troubadour, as I'm doing it right now. Yeah.
And before, because you studied in Sciences Po, which is quite a popular school and a lot of people want to study there. And did you have the competition?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I finished high school.
Yeah.
And I did a gap year because I was like, I need to see something else that I've always seen. Like, Christ, it's crazy. People just go to university without never leaving the house they grew up in and the city they grew up. So I went in Spain in a kind of eco neighborhood, like in a tiny village. And I was volunteering there with a few other volunteers, and we would just do like gardening and create like a theater piece for kids with puppets.
Okay.
And many other things. And that was very cool. I learned Spanish there, and like it opened a bit my world. And at the same time, I was a bit wondering what I was going to do afterwards. And my sister, I have an older sister, 16 years older than me. She was like, I heard about like the campus of Sciences Po that is in Poitiers, that is focused on Latin America and Spain and Portugal. You have a lot of courses in Spanish, in Portuguese. And like it was like a tiny campus full of life, a lot of artistic associations. And I didn't really know so much about Sciences Po at the time, but it's like a super vague formation. Like you do politics, you do sociology, economy, history. And yeah, so basically I was a bit lost. I was like, I could have something pretty vague, you know?
Yeah.
So I passed the exam, and I studied there for like a bachelor. Yeah.
And how was that?
That was good years. I was feeling a bit like I was not at my right place sometimes. So I was thinking about quitting at some point, especially the second year. I was in Poitiers, and I was like, I could see my friends like being stimulated by the studies, you know, like wanting to research and read books and study more, and like being like super, wow, it's so cool to learn all of this. And I'm like, I love like to have some intellectual déclic, you know?
Yeah, something that really makes you
like,
go and
want to
look
like,
for
oh
books.
yeah,
and
that makes so much sense. And like, it's very cool to learn. but I don't think I'm an intellectual person in the meaning that I'm not moved by my mental, you know? It's not what is moving me in my life. So the second year, I spent more time writing songs in my home, but it was very good years. I met amazing people, also like raised me like big awareness on politics. Not only the course that I had, but as well all the people I've met. I was in a group of super powerful women, like very politicized. I was in a batucada, so like a group of percussion that would go in demonstrations quite a lot. Like we had these moments with some friends where we would read like feminist essays like to each other and discuss about it. Yeah, it was like a very powerful as well political moment for me in my life. But not only in the studies, but more like in the environment I was in and the people I met. And I kept a lot of relationships from there as well. So yeah, no regrets of doing this. And this formation as well took me to Lisbon to study, and Lisbon took me to the music. And so weirdly, it makes sense somehow.
Yeah, it's crazy that you had all these songs ready to record and then you meet this guy and then it's just all happening and it's nice.
Yeah, it was... I don't really know why. I was just doing it because I felt like it made sense for me when I wrote these songs in the first place.
I really like your songs as well. Like I think the text, I mean, it's a bit different from a lot of other stuff that you can listen to. And yeah, I don't know, it's... Yeah, maybe also because we are both women and similar age or something. It really resonates. So do you also write in other languages?
Not really. I have one song in English that I wrote. It's a love song because I fell in love in English as well. Once it happened to me. But yeah, I write in French. Like it's very, very... I wrote one song in Portuguese as well, but I don't even know if I remember it now. So like I tried sometimes, but there is something about your maternal language that is different. You have like a flexibility in the words. You can really have a precise image, but very simple, like the exact thing you want to say. And it's very hard to translate it to another language.
Yeah.
It's like it will be approximative in another language. And in your own, you really know how the words hit, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I accepted that I write in French, and I started playing actually for people that don't get my language because I started playing in Portugal. So I'm used to play for an audience that won't get my lyrics, and it's fine. I try to explain a bit the songs before I play them as well.
Okay.
So people can enter it a bit, and I also play some covers in the local language. I try to at least.
What kind of songs do you like to play?
The covers?
Yeah.
It can be different. I like some folky stuff in English. I
checked out the translation of troubadour in English, and
it is troubadour. They say troubadour. Yeah.
And then they were definitions, and it was like about playing folk songs and stuff, and because I didn't know the proper definition of it actually, so it was nice.
It's like this. I mean, at least in my head, it's like this old image of what musicians was in like the Middle Age, you know,
these old instruments.
Playing these instruments, going from town to town to create a moment of music with the people around that.
Which is exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm just like the traveling is as much important in my life as the music in this moment. So I would rather say that I'm a troubadour than a musician because like my lifestyle is also that traveling, having my everyday life moving all the time. So yeah, that's why I use this word.
And so, do you have favorite songs to play that you would almost always play, or it changes, or?
The thing with covers is that I know a lot of them, so I use different ones. I never do the same set from a concert to another one.
Okay.
So I keep excited. I'm keeping myself excited to sing the songs. So sometimes I sing a bit in English, folk music. I sing a bit of Spanish, like Argentinian music, Latin, also Brazilian music in Portuguese. I'm learning my first fado as well, Portuguese music. I have a song in Italian, song in German,
Wow.
a song in Kimbundu from Angola. I mean, different languages. So when I move and I keep myself excited for singing as well, not only in French. I also do covers in French, of course. I like more like chansons françaises.
Yeah.
So like Charles Aznavour, Barbara. I also do that. Or or small. I don't really like to do like very known songs, even if it's like very known musician. I like to pick a song that everyone is not so used to hear. That's my point.
Yeah. Interesting. And so when all this like songwriting, does it just come to you? Do you have that like drive to write, or do you sit down and just start writing, or how does it work?
How does it work? It's a great question. I don't really know how it works, to be honest. I haven't identified a proper recipe.
You don't have a technique?
No.
To teach?
I don't have a technique. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well.
It depends, honestly. Like sometimes I would write a poem and at some point I would read it again and I would be with the guitar and find a melody on it and chords. Sometimes I would have a melody first in my head and then it would turn into a song. Sometimes everything come at once and like, you're like, what? And it's like, this is the good stuff. When everything comes, like the music and the words are like, they come at the same time. So like, it's very connected.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like in this, when I want to write a song, I sometimes do, of course, this is what I do, but I'm always a bit scared somewhere that I will not be able to write a song anymore. Because the process is so mysterious that it's always a bit scary not to be able to. Of course, you develop tools. So my harmonic ear is developing, my melodic ear as well. I write more and more, so I'm not scared that I have nothing to say anymore. I know that writing always comes.
Yeah, and also with the life you live in a way, traveling all around, seeing all these people and everything.
Yeah,
I guess it's
maybe, but I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so
actually,
much.
probably even if you just live a very simple life, you can also have so much to share.
Yeah. I remember when I was in the second year of my studies, I did like a workshop of poetry. It was in Spanish, but I was writing in French anyway. It was a moment of my life where I was starting writing songs, but each time I would have an idea, I was like, I need to go until the end of that idea because I felt like what I could say was very limited. So if I don't use this one, I'm going to lose an idea. And then I it's so precious because I don't have so many. I have not so many things that I could talk about.
Yeah.
I had this belief. And I did this workshop of poetry. So I had every week to come with a few poems written. So I would just start to have an habit of just writing, just not waiting for inspiration, just opening my notebook and start writing. Just one sentence, and one sentence is taking you somewhere without you knowing where it's going.
Okay.
But like it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
And that like deblocked me completely. Completely. Because I was like, this is infinite. This is completely infinite. And it's not related to what I live. It's not related to what ideas I have. It is me being connected to my sensibility and taking the time to write, basically. Sometimes you have something that you need to write it, and it's also very nice. But honestly, if I just open a book and start writing, something's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Now I know that. That's very good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, that's very good to know. And it's not going to be a song every time. It's not going to be a masterpiece. But at least I know I can do that. So it's just like on the way, the more I do it and like lyrically and melodically, harmonically, I'm more confident in what I can do somehow. But at the same time, it's super frightening to be like, maybe I'm never going to be able to do this again, to do some song that I'm really proud of again. So, yeah. But it has its magic as well. I think it's actually very nice.
Yeah. And do you read poetry also, or not necessarily?
I do sometimes. I'm not a big reader in general. I don't read, basically. I do sometimes when I have a book. Like right now, I have one book that is so cool. So like the book is very important for me because I take a lot of time to read it, like very little bits by very little bits, and I like underline everything, you know.
Yeah.
But when I read, like it's poetry or it's something pretty introspective. I don't really read like fictions and stuff like that. It's not really appealing to me. But I do really like a beautiful poetry. Like I think someone that influenced a big part of my music is also Jacques Prévert.
I love Jacques Prévert.
Yeah, he's a very good one.
I rediscovered him, I think, when I was training in dance also. I don't know, I bought this book in a French library here, and I was like, because you learn the poems when you're like 7, 8 at school, and now like reading it again, it was completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. I was like, wow.
I mean, what is very special with him, I think, is that he uses very simple words.
Yeah.
And have very strong images, metaphors.
Yeah.
You know? It's like very clear. When I read what he writes, I have very strong pictures in my head.
True.
But it's not like very lyrical or
complex.
No, it's not. It's not the point.
Yeah.
It's like simple words, efficient direction to the to the hearts of the one that is reading, and beautiful pictures. I was like, this is so good, really. Like when I discovered really what he was doing, I was like, I was crying reading. I didn't know I could cry reading.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember when I opened one of his books that is called Histoire. The first one got me completely.
Oh wow!
I was not expecting. I just opened it and I remember I was close to a river. I sat and I read like the first poem that is pretty long, it's a few pages, and I was crying a lot. Like it's amazing. It's just so simple and so direct and so beautiful. Like the way he makes very simple words so beautiful. This is something that is very important, and I'm trying to have in my songs. Like I don't use very complex words as well. It's like I try to have simple images, simple words, but put in a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked very well with me. So.
Thank you.
I'm the biggest fan. Can you sign my sock?
Of course.
By the way, I need to mention your cow's socks.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know you love cows.
I do love cows.
Wow.
And yeah. They're somehow in my life. They accompany me. So I don't have a cow with me. So I just have cow socks, which is the start.
It's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah. And do you have like other inspirations, like art forms that you feel attracted to, like paintings or music, I guess? Or...
Yeah, music, of course. I would rather say living art. Art vivant.
So like performances? Yeah.
I would say more like dance, theater, music. Something that is living. I'm way more... And reading a bit, like poetry. Because poetry for me is like music in a book, you know? But like all the visual arts, I would say I'm not so sensitive to that. I don't know why. I've never been like, I never go to an exhibition. I can be touched, it happens,
yeah.
But it's not something I go for. It's not something I search for to be inspired. And
yeah.
So yeah, I would say I like dance for sure. I love to dance as well, but also like watch is like can very touch me in a emotional way. And theater as well. I did some theater when I grew up.
Oh,
also.
Okay. Like classes, drama classes?
It's like more during the summers. During summer, I would go every year in kind of a summer camp of theater.
Okay.
And yeah, I did that. I did this as a kid and as a teenager. That was very important in my life because theater, I think, gives you confidence on being seen, on taking the space, some time, on communicating with someone, on discovering stuff, people, characters that are inside of you that you were not aware of. Is all this process of getting to know yourself also as a kid, I think is very cool. To express yourself, to write as well. Sometimes we did some writing in those summer camps. So yeah, theater for sure. Also, yeah, I would say more. Yeah, living arts, things that breathe. You know.
And what do you like the most about your work?
About my work.
Yeah, is there one thing that you're like, yeah, that's it? Is it the creating? Is it the being on stage? The connection with people after or everything?
Yeah, it has to be the sharing. Yeah, playing with others, playing for others, creating a connection with an audience. Like when I have a gig, I like to create a very informal context. So I speak quite a lot. I make jokes in between every song, kind of. I can't help myself. It is the
That's
way.
why I love that bus journey, because I think I was a bit tired, and I don't know, you were so funny, and yeah, I really remember laughing a lot. I was like, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's just I like to create a connection. Like you can feel in a room when everyone is at the same time together and there is an atmosphere where everyone's connected. This is why I'm doing it, you know, those moments. So I like to create a very close atmosphere. So like people can feel that I'm very accessible.
Yeah.
So they can feel touched at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say what I prefer is the performing. And also in my traveling, I meet also a lot of musicians. So when you get to play with others, like spontaneously make someone come play with you, and share that as well. That's good stuff. And I do really love writing like music and as well just writing poetry. It is very important for my balance. So I need it. But in what I do, I would say, yeah, the performing is my favorite part.
And when do you decide when a song is finished? You're like, okay, I'm not going to touch it again.
Most of the time when I write a song, it will not take so much time for me to write it. And once it's done, it's done.
Okay.
It's like, I don't often, at least, rewrite and rearrange. And usually I respect the first boop.
The first egg.
The first egg is the egg. You know, you got to make an omelet out of it. But it happens to me that sometimes I'm stuck with half of a song.
Okay. How do you...
It's happening right now. I have 3 half of a song. And so I don't know which one I will complete when. Like one I love the guitar and the melody I found, but I have no lyrics. One I just have one chorus that I really like, but I have no verse. And another one is kind of done, but it's missing something that is percussive enough and like would go... It's like a bit more atmosphere.
Fruity,
yeah. But it's not like... Like I like to be like... I want some moment for people to really feel what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like... those songs for sure are undone. Also, I know that when I don't perform a song in gigs, so I finish writing a song, but if I don't perform the song, is that it's not done. I'm not proud of it enough that I don't want to really show it. So yeah, maybe when I start performing it, it's like, yeah, that's the song.
And is there one song that you're the most proud of?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have like one... I have different songs for different moments, you know?
Yeah.
If I want to make you laugh or make you cry or make you soothed, like soothing, you know? If I want to... It depends. I would sing a different song to you. I don't think I have one song I am more proud than the others, especially. Yeah. I've been asked this question before. Like, yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe that's good.
Maybe
in
it's
a
okay.
way, yeah.
What I really like as well is that the favorite song of people of my songs that I've written are different songs. It's usually not the same.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah. And I don't think I have, because I listened to your album, I really liked it, especially when I was in Brittany, like going for walks and listening to it. And I don't think I had one favorite song as well. I think it would have to be like 3 or something like that. Like, yeah.
And I've written many songs since then as
yeah,
well that you
so
haven't heard.
Any project?
Yes.
Album?
Yeah, I've been writing like as well since I've recorded this album, so I do have some material. And my idea, I don't know when it's gonna exist, but the other album, because the first album was very just like voice, guitar, and some harmonies, but very, very simple.
Yeah.
Recording in a room, like a bedroom, basically.
Yeah.
And the one I'm thinking about is a bit different. I want strings on it. I want brass. I want piano. I want a choir. I want an accordion. I want double bass. You know, it's like,
So cool.
It's going to be a bit different. It's going to be more instrumental. And I'm arranging it a bit already, some of it. I don't know exactly yet the shape of it, but I know there will be harmonies because I crave for harmonies. It's like, it's very important to me. So I think it's good that I had an album just very simple, what I do in gigs most of the time. But I'm a big harmony lover, so I have things in my head that I want to make happen.
Wow. And technically, how, when you recorded this first album, for example, like, is it easy, you just, or do you really have to do it again and again and again? And is it a bit complicated to find
the right take?
Yeah, in a way, or
what we did, at least, it was I played each song a couple of times.
Okay.
And we would,
so with the guitar and the singing.
Yeah. And we would listen to it again and would keep the best. And if we're not happy with the version that we recorded, I would do it again.
Okay.
That was a simple way of doing it. Just singing and playing the guitar at the same time. But yeah, like what I have in my head for the next project is gonna be a bit different. Gonna be like recording an orchestra and stuff. Like what? But yeah, it is happening. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Cool.
Yeah.
And as a human being, what is your strength?
I would say my joy.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm a very joyful person, very happy. And I know I'm lucky for that. So I try to share it the most I can. Yeah. Like, take a bit.
I have too much.
And connected to the joy, I mean, what really matters to me is connection with people. So, and I think I'm pretty good at that. Like just getting to link with people I meet. And sometimes people are like, but how do you do like to, because you know so many people, how do you do to keep those relationships alive?
Yeah.
But this is also like the way of life I've chosen. I move so much so I can visit.
But I love that you contacted me and you were like, hey, I'm coming to London. And I was like, oh, we really need to do like at least a recording. And I also really wanted to see you. Sadly, I can't. But yeah, but I was so happy
we just met once in a bus.
Yeah.
But I felt like our meeting was so nice.
Yeah, it was really, I really wanted to see you again.
So for me, that's way enough for us to see each other again.
Yeah.
Even if we just met once in a bus.
Yeah.
But it was such like a true moment that's of course I'm gonna come to your house and record something with you, you know? So this is how it works in my life. I would say creating boundaries with people and joy. Probably.
Nice. And what would you like to be better at?
I am somehow someone that likes her comfort, maybe in a different way than others, but I'm not someone that is pushing myself a lot.
Okay.
I don't like effort
Okay.
most of the time. So I don't do sports. I don't like even try to see where are my boundaries. I don't even get close to my boundaries, you know? And I know that my comfort zone is not at the same place as a lot of people. Like a lot of people would be completely out of their comfort zone in my life because I move a lot. I'm always at people's place. I'm performing on stage and stuff.
Singing, playing, yeah.
But that's kind of my comfort zone, my uncomfort zone that I never get close to. And I should sometimes. I know I would like to get better at that. Is pushing myself a little bit in the places where I know I'm without comfort. So that means everything that involves physical effort. That means I can be lazy as well sometimes, you know?
Okay. Like you would, stay in bed all day or...
Yeah, for example, if I'm in a house where I can actually chill, I could stay in the house without going out of the house for quite some time.
Wow.
You know?
That seems so crazy to me because I'm the opposite. I need to move. I need to do something.
Yeah. But I know that it's not good for me. I know that I recharge my batteries with people.
Yeah.
That I identified. So I need to see souls to get excited by life. Otherwise, if I'm alone, I need my loneliness, of course. I'm very solitude person as well.
Yeah.
But this is not what is recharging me. It's relieving me, giving me some comfort. But the life is outside. The life is with people. This is where I feel like, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I would say I would like to get better at pushing myself a bit more in the effort way. I mean, imagine myself have kids one day, you know, these kind of things. I'm like, yeah, I will have to get better at this before it happens. Because I give a lot of space to my freedom and you know, my creativity and my desires, but not so much to effort and sacrifice and this kind of stuff, you know. So I think that's great for me to live this. But
how did you realize that though? When did you realize, oh, maybe I'm too much in my comfort zone, or is it something that someone told you, or?
No, I'm very aware.
Okay.
Of it. How do you say that? Évident. The obvious.
Obvious, yeah.
The obvious part in my life is the sports, the physical part, because I never push. I never do something that is actually nice. I mean, I walk kind of a lot because I'm active, but I'd rather tour for 4 months in 7 different countries and always sleep at different people's place than running for 40 minutes. Running for 40 minutes is terrifying, you know? It's it's silly. I have very small confidence about what I'm capable of doing with my body.
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah.
And I would like to have a different belief and, you know?
Yeah, in what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel in my body, you know, I'm not completely disconnected.
Yeah, because you sing, so it's
I sing, I love to dance, I move quite a lot. But I know I'm a bit
okay.
Yeah, not pushing myself too much.
And is there anything that scares you?
I guess I'm scared of not being capable and seeing myself struggling in something, facing myself being a failure in doing that, you know? Because I know that when I do something, for example, I do something physical that I believe at first I'm not capable of doing. And then I do it. I'm like, okay, now I'm capable. And then the next time I will not be scared of doing it. Because I've done it once. I know I can do it. So it's very about the fear of not being able to do it. Taking a bike, even just taking a bike, you know? What if I find myself in front of a way up and I can't do it and I'm left alone and everyone's in front, and I just can't do it.
Wow.
You know, this kind of crazy fears.
Yeah.
And each time like that ends up happening, I can do it in the end.
Yeah.
And I do it.
Yeah.
I sweat a bit, which is exotic to me, but I actually can do it. And I'm like,
What's on my body?
what do you smell like? What is going on?
That is so funny.
And I'm like, yeah, it's so crazy what the picture I have of what I can do. But yeah, it's maybe the fear of being left behind.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm realizing it now.
You're welcome.
Oh my God, this is
50 pounds at the end of the...
Oh.
Do you want to be liked and approved, and by who?
Oh yeah, I think I have. Yeah, probably have a problem with that. But since I'm a kid,
Yeah.
I kind of want everyone to love me.
Okay.
So I do my best. And when someone doesn't like me, it creates like this thing in me, like I need to prove this person that she's wrong.
Ooh.
You know?
And what would you do? Would you?
I would, I don't know, I would try to have time with that person. And, you know, it's like, for me, I cannot just be like, yeah, they don't like me, whatever. No. Happened to me when I don't estimate someone, I can be whatever, you know?
Uh-huh.
And when I know that the vision of the person that is looking at me is like false because of something, like for example, I was in political school,
Yeah.
so I was in a group of a lot of feminists, lesbians, vegetarian, women,
People that
you know?
people hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was this group of white guys from good families, right wing, that are pretty rich and talk about meritocracy, you know? And it would be like this opposite of in between the two groups.
Yeah.
And they would call us femmes soja, the soja women. And we'll call them like HSBC, which is the name of a bank in France.
Oh, yeah.
And because HSBC is like homme straight cis blanc. It's like a man, straight, cisgender, and white. Anyway, so we had like this kind of opposition. And I knew that most of these guys would hate me because of what I represent.
Yeah.
And I would be okay with that somehow. Because I know that they don't know me really. They just see me as I see them, you know? Because we see each other as a box that we put the other inside.
True,
so we don't really meet each other. So that I would accept, you know? But if I feel like someone is getting a wrong picture of me, or even a right one, but that annoys me, I will try to prove them they're wrong.
Okay.
But very like
subtly, kind of, yeah.
Exactly.
Putting little things.
Just
in
like
there.
just trying to be a good person around you. It's crazy now. I know I have a problem with that.
No,
I need
it's...
to reconcile myself with the fact that you can't please everybody. It's not possible. And actually, this is something that happened not so long ago. I had my two first haters comment.
Oh,
yeah.
What were they?
One was like I just did a cover of a song that is called Elle était si jolie with a brass band from a singer that is called Alain Barrière. And there was this random dude that commented the video saying, "Oh, still Alain Barrière, like again, ... Like just
point.
just the guy, a random one coming by, and that he felt like he should comment and say like, "Oh, again this guy." It was like, okay, like it was not very mean, but it was like,
yeah, still it's a bit like,
it was just like bad energy. You know?
Someone took the effort to write what they thought.
To write, complain about something that is really not worth it complaining about.
Just don't watch it if you don't want to. Yeah.
And the other one I don't remember. But I was like, oh, this is okay.
Well, you've got haters. That's a sign.
Yeah.
Success is
I'm making it. Yeah. But I know that if I want to keep going on this path, I need to reconcile myself
With that.
with that, because otherwise I'm gonna be broken very fast. Because people have opinions,
Yeah.
and they make you aware of it. So I am as well confident in what I do somehow.
Okay. So do you think you could change the way you create songs or something because of, if like you get more comments or something because of the opinion, or do you think that this is this is something not really?
Not really. I would take a good advice of someone
Yeah.
I estimate, have esteem, of course. But I don't know, for example, once I was just playing in an open mic in Brussels. And I played like 2 songs. And then afterwards, there was this guy, he came up to me. And he was like super toxic. He was like giving me a compliment and then
breaking it.
and then breaking me. He was like, "Yeah, have such a beautiful voice, but that's a shame that your guitar playing is like this. I think you'd rather play with me. It would be better if I."
Oh wow.
He was explaining to me that it was such a shame for me that has such a nice voice that I had such a shit guitar playing.
Wow.
And it was like super weird. Like I was like, wow, this is very toxic. And he was very manly, confident person. So annoying. And explaining to me what I should do, And afterwards I heard him. He took actually my guitar at some point without asking me.
Mm-hmm.
And he started playing something. And he was just playing like a G chord and a C chord. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I can do better than this. Fuck you. So I'm like, for example, I was not putting myself in too much perspective in that moment, because I don't give esteem.
Yeah, it's a bit of a big joke then.
Yeah, I don't give esteem to that man because I think it's a joke.
Yeah.
But if it's someone I care about and I value the work and stuff, then yeah, of course I could reconsider some stuff. But I think what I do has pretty much shape already. It's chanson, It's like just putting words on a song. I will not make myself pop, in order to have a bigger audience, or, I'll not do that. But.
Do you have people who inspire you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think the first figure I had that really fascinated me and inspired me was Joan Baez.
Who is that?
Joan Baez is a famous folk singer. She's still alive. She's in her 70s right now. Yeah, she was during the Bob Dylan time. They were together for some time. And I remember listening to her music when I was a kid because my father used to listen quite a lot to her. And so we'd travel and listen to this in the car. And this is the first woman with a guitar singing beautiful songs that I remember being like, that's cool. I kind of want to do that as well. So, and I actually went to see her in Paris when I was 18. That was my 18th birthday present.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I would say she mattered in an imaginary vision I had of what a musician could be. She's also very, she talks about politics also around. I don't really talk about politics, but
you can feel it in your songs though, that there are some...
They're not militant, activist music, but I am who I am.
Yeah.
So it appears in the song as well. And then inspires me, I would say also musicians that I've met, musicians in my life, artists in my lives, that I really admire and also created a picture of what is possible. For example, I have a couple of friends that live in London. They're English, and they're both folk musicians. Beautiful. Adam Beatty and Fiona Bevan. And I met them in Lisbon, and they're one of the first kind of successful, but still in a human way, artists I've met,
Yeah.
So the touring, they do beautiful music. I'm in love with what they do. They're beautiful human beings as well. And they have a nice life, you know? And they don't get like superstars recognized in the street, and they're not miserable neither. Just like exist in the place of being an artist that I really wish for, you know? So yeah, I would say that meeting people that have a living like this is very inspiring.
Like a model.
Yeah. Just like someone I would look up to. Musically, humanly, professionally. And otherwise, I do listen to a lot of different musicians. I get inspired by many things, I would say. Yeah. A lot of women, to be honest. A lot of women songwriters. Spanish, Portuguese, French, English.
Okay, send me some names and stuff so I can open my... Because I always listen to the same song. It's pretty bad.
Portuguese, I love Maro. She's amazing, very creative, and she recorded an album with 2 flamenco guitarists. Beautiful. I'm in love with her.
Wow.
I love Rita Payes. She's Catalan singer and trombone as well. Plays trombone. Recorded 2 albums with her mom. That is a classic guitarist. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I would say the French is more vague. It's like more old stuff. I love Claude Nougaro. I love... Yeah, it's a hard question. I mean, I love a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do listen to a lot of folk as well.
And if you were an animal?
Yeah, I'd love to be a cow. Yeah, I would be with my cow mates. What I love about cows is that they're just so chill, you know? They're very slow. I aim to be a slow person.
Yeah.
I aim to have the time to look at things, take the time to speak my mind, you know? I feel like being slow is being here. It's more present to what you do. So cow is perfect. Cow is big and slow. And they do love music. They do.
They do?
Yeah.
How do you know
They
that?
have so many videos of cows running for someone that is playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so...
Yeah. So yeah, I would say cow. That's my direction I'm going to.
Okay.
You know.
Cow.
Yeah.
And do you have
Being a cow.
do you have a favorite color? Black and white.
Black and white?
Like cows.
I'd probably say blue. Because at the same time is a deep color, but is also melancholic. I am a joyful person, but I love some melancholy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I'm more joyful when I'm with people, and when I'm alone, I'm more melancholic person.
And if you could meet your 15 years old self and say something, would you?
What would I say to myself? I don't know, just trust the process. It's okay. I was pretty happy already as a 15-year-old.
Okay.
I had blue hair and good friends.
I need to see pictures of
Yeah. I don't know if I really want to give myself an advice so much. I just wish to myself for as long as I can until I die, just to be true, you know?
Yeah.
Not to be happy. Like, happiness is great when it's there, but the most important, I would say, is to be true to what you are, who you know, what you are, who you are, what do you desire, and as long as I'm honest with that, I think I'm okay. So I would maybe say that to myself. Just focus on being true, with others as well. You know, maybe it's a very French thing to be so honest.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was speaking about before that recording, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I would say is the most important. Being here, so really in the present, being true to what is happening, really.
And I guess then when you have a joyful moment, it's a real joyful moment. Yeah.
It's not made up. And because when you're young, you are confronted. There's like a conflict with what you want and what is cool, you know, what is expected of you. I had this moment, maybe when I was more like 16, I was like, fuck a lot of things, you know. I had like this moment of, what am I doing? So I was like, I stopped wearing bras and shaving and putting makeup on, and I stopped many things I was doing maybe to please people around or society or expectations. Were like, doesn't make sense to me, so I'm not gonna do it.
That is so brave to do that at that age. It's quite young.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend
Okay.
that I could relate on with that, but I remember when I arrived in my studies, like the it was amazing. Like the change when I arrived and when I left. I arrived, there were like a lot of people looking at me like, you don't, like, for example, you don't shave? And like a lot of girls around, like my roommates, they were like, the first day we had a conversation about it because like, you gotta be brave not to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, no, I'm just, also when I do it, I don't feel shame about it because I want others to see that it's normal, you know? I want to be comfortable, so women around me think it is normal. I mean, for her, it is normal, so it could be normal for me. It could be an okay thing. So yeah, I had this moment when I was a teenager where I was like, fuck this shit. But yeah, 15 was like a moment I was a bit ashamed of my body. I was a bit searching for who I was. I always wanted to please a lot people, and at the same time I had like this strong personality, you know. So a bit of conflict. I was wondering, am I the same person with everyone, or am I just like a chameleon trying to please everyone? This is, I think, also why I needed to go away from this environment, and I decided to go to Spain when I was 18.
Wow.
Just to like, my big question was like, who am I? Who am I when all of the people I know are not around?
Yeah.
What is left?
Yeah.
So I needed this moment of truth with myself. So yeah, it's something that I am attentive to, and the fact that I'm moving so much and traveling so much right now makes me more aware and sure, I would say, about who I am. Now I could be with everyone I know in the same room, and I would be okay.
Okay.
You know,
Wow.
I would not feel like I should be different personalities. I am, because I'm always changing my context. So I learned who I am, and this person is traveling from a place to another, you know.
Wow. Beautiful. Do you have any projects for the future you want to share before we finish? This will go out on the 14th of June.
Okay.
Where
so
would
should
you
I
be?
announce something?
Where would you be on the 14th of June? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
In the 14th of June, I will be traveling probably from Brussels to Paris, because I have a crazy project with a friend in Paris that is organizing a big stream event with like internet celebrities, and we wrote a song for a girl.
Oh.
So I'm gonna come and maybe do some backing vocals and make sure everything's all right. And then I go to Switzerland because I have a brass band I'm playing with there. It's very exciting. 7 brass arrangement of my music with them. It's so cool. And we're gonna have some gigs in the end of June. So I'm very excited about that. Like, my vision of the future and my project is always kind of short. But I know what I do until kind of October, you know.
That's already huge for me.
That's huge for you. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's a lot, but for other people it would be like then after October you have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no clue. and it's okay. I just know that at some point a desire will come up, and I will put energy into make this happen. This is what I do. So maybe I'll have a house somewhere. I'm thinking about that, having a house in countryside with some friends, so I can come back to somewhere, have my instruments, my clothes, my things. That would be cool.
That looks cool.
Yeah. Maybe I will be touring again. Maybe I have no idea. I will be writing music for a movie probably next year. Just different stuff.
So cool.
Yeah. Different
Such
stuff.
a cool life.
Yeah. It is. I like the fact that I really feel like I am inventing my life. You know?
Not following a model.
I'm not following it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm imagining it and then putting it into a reality. And like, I feel like not a lot of people feel that, you know?
True.
In my environment, at least, you know? We are full of responsibilities and careers that we need to follow and rent to pay and, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I just created the lifestyle where I'm kind of free from that. I live from the hat that I pass in the gigs, and I move a lot, and I imagine what I would desire my future to be, and then I put energy into that. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
And when I will get tired of moving so much, I will have a house, and I will imagine a way of making this
happen.
Yeah, happen and possible. Like, the financial part is not something that is restricting me in my life. If I need some money to do something, then I will invent a way
to make the money.
Yeah.
You
know, and it's not the other way around. You know, first all the making money takes all the space, and then you have 2 weeks in the year where you actually get to do what you really want to. That's so frightening to me. But people would rather have security over freedom.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
But that's not the life I'm choosing.
Well, thank you so much, Joanna.
That was a pleasure.
That was so cool. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a 5 stars on your favorite platform. It really supports me, and then I can interview all the artists of the world until I die. Merci!